Okay, in this video I will show you how we can install Python and how to make sure you have installed Python successfully on your machine. At the moment I'm on my Mac machine and I will go to terminal here. If you don't have a terminal here, you can also search for a terminal and open that. So my terminal is open, and in order to check if the Python is installed on my machine, I can do Python. And you can see here Python 2.7 is installed on my machine, and you can see that 3 greater than signs here. That means I can write actually a Python commands here. For now I will put exit here like that, and I'm back in my terminal now. But you can see Python 2.7 here. If I go to official page of Python and I'm on the www.python.org, you can see here, if we go for downloads, the newest version is 3.7.3. That means the Python version I have here installed, that's an old version of Python. And we can distinguish two different versions, version 2 and version 3. In our tutorial, we will be using the newest version, which is 3. And we need to have at least 3.5. If you don't have 3.5, you need to go to this website and you can install the latest version from their website. And I will show you momentarily how to do that. But I have to say, the reason why I have a Python 2.7 here is because the Macintosh by default comes with a Python 2 pre-installed. I also have Python 3 installed, but to run the Python 3 I need to do Python 3. If I do Python and put 3 at the very end, you can see my version is Python 3.6 at the moment, so I have also Python 3. So in that case, I'll come back here to normal command line. I have 2 versions of Python. If I run a command Python, the default one 2.7 will be used. If I run command Python 3, the Python 3.6 will be used. So if you are not sure what is installed on your machine, you can always try Python or Python 3. Also, you can do something like which Python, and then it will tell you where your Python is installed, and that's a path to installation of your Python. So if I do which Python 3, you can see I have a different Python for this one and for this one. So if you would like to locate where your Python is installed, you can use command which and then Python. Okay, so I have Python installed on this machine, so you need to install it here. But if you don't have your Python on your machine, if you go to the downloads, this website will automatically detect on your operating system and it will give you installation here. So I have a Python 3.7.3 available for me to install, so I can just install this, and then in the wizard I click next, 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 and everything is installed. That's very easy to do on Linux and on Mac, but it's a little bit more complicated on the Windows, because on Windows we need to do some extra steps, because we need to make sure that Python will be installed to our path. So let's switch to Windows and I will show you how to do it. Okay, so we are on Windows machine here on the same website, python.org, and whenever we go to the downloads here, you can see the download for Windows is available straight away. So we can click on this icon and it will download version 3.7.3, and I have it already downloaded here, so I can click on this and install. Before I will do that, I will also show you here, if you would like to pick a specific version for your operating system, or this doesn't recognize your operating system, you can pick your operating system from here. So if you're on Windows, you can click here and you will see much more releases, so you can find a correct version you would like to install, and you can go for this one. We have Python 3.7 here already downloaded, so just click on this. And I would just recommend it to go for the downloads we have here and the button here. That's the recommended version. So what we can do here is to install our Python. As you can see here, the Python will be installed OC users Christian, which is my username, my user installed on this machine, update the local programs and so on. So you can install this version or you can customize it, but very important part of this will be to add Python 3.7 to the path. That means 3.7 Python will be added to the path and we can use it in the terminal. So we will do customize this, and you can actually do some options, but I will leave it as it is now. I will click next, and here you can decide on the path. I will go for path C Python 3.7 like it is here, and you also have add Python to environmental variables. If you have that checked, this installation will add it for you, but I will also show you in a second how we can actually verify it and add it on ourselves. That's why I've done this path much easier for us to use. Actually, I can copy that path here and I will install Python. Okay, Python has been installed successfully, so we'll close this window and then we can check two things. For first, let's check if that has been added to our virtual environments. So I can come here and I can type environment, and you can see here edit the system environment variables. And clicking on environmental variables here, we can actually check if the Python has been installed. So we have both here, that's user variables for the user I'm currently logging in Windows, and that's system variables, and in both we have path. So let's check if we have that Python here in the path. And you can see here Python 3.7, that's the path I set up earlier in the installation is here. If you leave it as the default, it was that long path here. If you don't have that path here and you need to add it manually, you can click new here, and then as we copied that from the previous screen, you can paste it here. We already have it here, so I don't need to do it. I will cancel. And you also might need to add it for the system variables. That will be for all users in the machine, but if you have it for your current user and you're using current user, you will be able to use it. So we verify that Python 3 has been added to our virtual environment by the installation wizard. I can cancel here and I can also cancel here. So any time you will need to do it manually, you can do it with virtual environment. So let's come to the command prompt. That's the same as it was in the terminal. If I do Python, you can see 2.7 has been installed. I can exit this and I can do Python 3. And this still might not work on this machine because a virtual environment has been added to the path, but usually we need to reset our machine to have that in place. So we might not be able to use Python 3 straight away, but I also find it a few issues. Normally with Windows you don't have Python 2.7. I had to have this installed for one of the projects that couldn't use the Python 3, but usually you will have only one Python, which is the newest, 3.7, and then you don't need to apply that Python 3 at the very end. Whatever you will put Python, you will have the Python latest version installed, and that's the normal setup you will have it. If you don't have it, you need to make sure you have it to add it to virtual environment and then reset your machine, and you will be able to use it. So in the next video I will show you how to install Django.